Namaskar, this is Akhilesh Bhargav. Welcome to Tidbits on Business and Finance with me. Banks in India today, particularly public sector banks, are held hostage by a grave NPA crisis. They face a mountain of NPAs, and that mountain was not built overnight. It has been one which has accumulated over the years, and today it is so huge that credit delivery system in the country has been clogged. The economic growth has been suffering because banks today are crowded by NPAs and lending is not taking place in a correct manner. The NPA crisis of India got aggravated over the years because of years of indifference and failure on the part of the system. Failure to prevent the development and build-up of new NPAs, and failure of the system to resolve the old NPAs, and resultantly they just kept rising year to year on an incremental basis. The crisis, to say the least, is huge, it is severe, and it is evident from a few figures. Between 2010 to 2020, banks have written off NPAs to the tune of 8.83 lakh crores, and 79% of these write-offs have belonged to the public sector banks. And that has not resolved the crisis. As of 31st March 2020, there were still 9 lakh crores worth of NPAs on bank balance sheets. That's the kind of money that has been lost by the country in bad loans given by the banks. Today, after 31st March 2020, we have had the COVID crisis, and because of that, the system is only further loaded with potential NPAs which are yet to be recognized. They remain hidden. They remain postponed for various reasons. The moratorium that was given by banks has hidden NPAs to a certain extent. And then came the restructuring of loans by banks, which again postponed their recognition. And finally, it was the Supreme Court order which said that banks cannot recognize NPAs beyond 31st August until further orders. Therefore, while the figure of NPAs as of 31st March 2020 may be large, there is still a bigger base of NPAs building in the system, and the crisis will only worsen further in the coming months, in the coming quarters. The Reserve Bank of India says that NPAs, which were at 7.5% of total loans and advances as of 30th September 2020, they are expected to balloon to 13.5% to 14.5% of bank advances within a year's time as of 30th September 2021. In the case of public sector banks, the situation is even more worse. Their NPAs as of 30th September 2020 were 9.7% of the total advances. That figure is expected to increase to 16.25% in a year's time. And because of this, the total NPAs are expected to cross 15 lakh crores within a year's time. The fact of the matter is that India faces its biggest ever NPA crisis. But let's be clear, NPAs are not new to India. They are not new to India's banking system. Public sector banks have always been loaded with NPAs, and public sector banks, because of that, have very often gone bankrupt. That explains why the government of India needs to recapitalize them from time to time, and huge amounts of public money have been lost in the process. The most classic case here is that of IDBI Bank. IDBI went bankrupt in the late 90s. It had to be rescued by setting up an ARC, which at that time was called the Stressed Asset Fund. The Stressed Asset Fund was created in 2004 in order to rescue a bankrupt IDBI Bank. A couple of years ago, or rather 3-4 years ago, IDBI Bank went bankrupt all over again, and it had to be rescued by LIC by pumping in over 50,000 crores. That is the instance of just one bank which went belly up on account of NPAs. That's the kind of crisis almost every public sector bank faces or potentially faces in India today. The roots of the present NPA crisis go back to the years 2008 to 2013. It was in the aftermath of the global economic meltdown that banks in India indulged in corrupt and reckless lending such that the loans given by the public sector banks went up by 3 times in a matter of just 5 years. They indulged in lending which was clearly reckless, and because of that, while the loans went up multiple times, so did the NPAs. The Modi regime actually inherited the NPA crisis from the UPA government, but then it has truly done little thereafter in order to resolve this crisis. The Modi government came to power in 2014 for the first time, and now we are in 2021. The problem remains unresolved, it has only worsened. It has also worsened because of disastrous decisions taken by the Modi government, which included demonetization, which rendered many a bank loan bad. The problem remains unresolved. The problem remains unresolved and is evident from the fact that in the last 5 years, the government has had to pump in about 3.57 lakh crores of additional capital in public sector banks bankrupted because of NPAs in order to stabilize them, in order to ensure that they don't go down under. Today, despite asset reconstruction companies functioning since 2002, despite the debt recovery tribunals, despite the IBC and the NCLT, despite banks themselves, and despite the RBI's preventive correction regime that was imposed, we have failed to resolve the NPA crisis. None of these options, whether the ARC, the DRT, the NCLT, the banks, the PCA, have been able to resolve the matter. It is because of this that from time to time, the proposal of setting up a bad bank surfaces. A bad bank is supposed to do a few things. It is supposed to first carve out, isolate bad loans from the balance sheets of banks and put it into a new entity. Thereafter, it is required to manage those loans and finally sell them off so that the banks are able to realize the money, at least to the best extent possible. This process helps the bank to free themselves from the burden of NPAs and continue focusing on their core activity of lending. That's the simplest form of a bad bank. As we said, this proposal has been made from time to time. In 2017, the Economic Survey suggested the setting up of a bad bank as a cure for the Indian NPA crisis. In 2018, then, a committee of bankers under Project Shashakt also reiterated that a bad bank should be set up in order to carve out the bad loans of the banks and put them in a new entity for management and resolution. Last year, the Indian Banks Association also proposed a bad bank. From time to time, this proposal has been surfacing. The purpose is to carve out the bad loans and clean up the banks. The finance minister, in her budget announcement this year, said that the government proposes to set up, she did not say a bad bank, but she said that the government will set up an ARC and an AMC, the Asset Reconstruction Company, to take over the NPAs of banks, and an AMC, an asset management company, in order to manage the bad loans and finally sell them. She said that the purpose is to consolidate and take over stressed assets of banks and thereafter to dispose them off to alternate investment funds or to investors in order to realize value for banks, minimize their losses. While this is what she said in her budget speech, she was silent about what will be the ownership structure of these new entities being set up, which is the ARC and the AMC. What is going to be the management structure and what is going to be the mechanisms of managing this entire process of taking out the bad loans, managing them and selling them out. She did say that the government of India does not intend to pump any money in these new entities. But the fact is that these entities are being set up by the government as perhaps its desperate last-ditch measure in order to resolve the crisis. The banking secretary later said that this proposal is neither of a bad entity nor of a bank entity. He said it is neither bad nor a bank. He said that banks will pump in the money that is needed by way of capital to set up the ARC and the AMC. And according to him, about 2.25 lakh crores of NPAs are expected to be resolved by this entity in the coming years. Some experts say it could be over 5 lakh crores of NPAs that might come to these ARCs, this AMC, in order to resolve them, in order to resolve the crisis. The setting up of a bad bank is not truly a new idea. Many an organization, many a nation have set up bad banks in order to manage the NPA crisis, or at least to ensure that either rotten assets or non-core assets are taken out of bank balance sheets and put into a new entity to manage, and in the meanwhile ensuring that the bank concerned continues to focus on its core business of lending. Malaysia did that, China did that, and the likes of Citibank, Royal Bank of Scotland, Deutsche Bank, and Credit Suisse Bank have also set up specialized entities in order to manage their stress assets or to manage their non-core assets. But then in this case, as the finance minister says, it is not a bad bank being set up, but an ARC and an AMC being set up. If the government says that it is setting up an ARC and an AMC, then we need to remind ourselves of the very reasons why ARCs have failed to deliver in India so far. ARCs came into India from 2002, and from then to now, their track record has been extremely dismal and disappointing. And there are very many reasons why this has happened. It is worth having a look at them. The first reason is that banks in India have been extremely slow in passing on their NPA accounts to ARCs. They have delayed the process, and because of that, the value of the underlying assets has only deteriorated and eroded, only harming the bank in the process. The final realization of such assets has been much poorer than what it could be had the asset been referred to or handed over to an ARC much earlier. The second is, whenever an ARC auctions its assets, it's always done on an as-it-were basis, and very often it is noticed that titles to those assets being auctioned are defective. Because of that, either no bids come for those assets or they are of a very low figure. Obviously, if the title is not very clear, the bids are not going to be very good. Further, what is noticed is when it comes to handing over assets by banks to ARCs, the valuation of assets has been very unrealistic. The valuations done by the banks, the pricing of assets done by the banks are inflated. And because of that, again, buyers don't come, the assets don't get encashed, and banks don't get back their money. This has been one of the prime reasons why ARCs in India have failed to deliver. It is also seen that while ARCs need a very specialized professional manpower to resolve the NPA accounts that come to them, ARCs in India have not had such professionals. You need a combination of professionals who got forensic skills, who have got legal skills, who have got accounting skills. And those kind of professionals have not been there with ARCs. Many a time, it is bankers themselves who are manning the ARCs. Those very bankers who created the NPAs are certainly not competent to manage now the NPAs that go to the ARCs. And that has shown the poor performance of the ARCs concerned. Further, of course, the process is slow, the system is slow. And apart from the system being slow, ARCs are not well capitalized in the country. They need money to buy the assets out of the banks, even if they are at a highly discounted price. And this thin capitalization of ARCs has certainly impeded their progress in India. What we have also seen is that ARCs have relied on issuing SRs, which is securitization receipts to the bankers, with the promise that whenever the assets are sold, the amount will be paid to them. The SRs have proved to be worthless securities in the hands of the bankers. They were not able to realize their monies. The SRs continue to be held and the NPAs continue to mount. While all this is going on, what we have noticed is that asset reconstruction companies truly got little tangible support from DRTs, from the NCLT, from the IBC, and from prosecuting authorities. If all of them had helped the ARCs, then asset realization would have been better, it would have been faster. That has not taken place. The net result is an extremely delayed recovery of the NPA accounts that were bought by the ARCs from the banks. And when that gets delayed, investor money does not come in. Worldwide, it is seen that banks and financial institutions and investors and lenders are very keen to invest in stressed asset management funds, which is ARCs. But that happens when the turnaround of the NPA is fast. In India, it being very slow, these kind of money, this kind of funds with deep pockets have not come to India. And that again shows why the sector has been suffering. The track record of asset reconstruction companies has been so poor that just about 10% of the assets which were sold to them by the banks have been realized by them. 90% have not been realized. They remain unresolved. And that explains the burgeoning NPA crisis in India. The reality of the matter is that some kind of a resolution is needed of India's NPA banking crisis. If that is not done, the system will continue to be clogged. loans will not come by, growth of the economy will suffer. And at a time when we have already suffered a contraction in the economy because of COVID, the last thing that we need is GDP growth suffering because of the NPAs that continue to hang around. Let's see whether the ARC AMC model which the FM proposes proves to be a success. If you go by the previous track record, it's going to be a doubtful process. This is Akhilesh Bhargav signing off till we meet again. Namaskar.
Hello everyone. HW News English is 2 years old now. When we started this venture, we promised ourselves one thing, that news should remain free, because right to know is the right of every Indian. But to keep news free for everyone, we need support from some of you. And thus we have rolled out membership on our YouTube channel HW News English. But mind you, the membership is completely voluntary. The programs that we were doing earlier, that we are doing now, will continue to remain free. First level is a basic level. Here, you can be our supporter by paying Rs 199 per month. This membership gives you certain perks and benefits. The perks include unique badges in front of your name, a live show from Mr. Sujit Nair and from Mr. Akhilesh Bhargava per month for our members. You can also vote in some exclusive members-only polls. Now the second level is Super Supporter. Here you can be our Super Supporter by paying Rs 3,999 per month. This membership will include every perk that comes with basic level. Additionally, our Super Supporters can be a part of a WhatsApp group where we can have discussions and suggestions on various topics. The second perk includes a gift pack with our merchandise. And the third perk is a Google Meet with Mr. Sujit Nair, where you can join the meet and ask your questions to Mr. Nair face to face. Lastly, if you like, we would give a shout out to our super supporters in our programs. So, hope to see you soon with our badges.